Hello and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide. Today I'm here at a very cold and breezy Flamingo Land in North Yorkshire for an update on their 10 Inversion roller coaster that's opening in 2020. It's been just under 3 months since I was last here at Flamingo Land. It was the start of December and RCS were assembling the track for this new roller coaster. Since I was last here, over the past couple of weeks, track has now been completed for Flamingo Land's new roller coaster. So in this update, I'll have a little walk around the outside of the site and see what we can see of that track that's now complete. That does of course include the very impressive Cobra roll that we can see just over to the side here. There's certainly going to be a really impressive entrance statement when you come into Flamingo Land. Of course I'm allowed into the park today because the zoo is open. It's open throughout the winter. It means you can pay £8 to go into the zoo and also come onto the car park area here and just have a little look at the construction taking place. So yeah, it's ideal really. You can come along, support the park, go and see the animals and have a little look at the coaster under construction as well. So I'll be spending a few hours here today. But firstly, let's make our way over a little bit closer towards the coaster. Of course, the construction site itself is a little bit further back that way, so we can get a lot closer to the track from here to get some closer updates for you guys. So yeah, let's head over and have a look at the work that's taken place since I was last here at the start of December. Let's start off by taking a look at this pretty epic overview of the left-hand side of the coaster. It just shows how big this new ride actually is. At this point, I made my way round to the far left-hand side of the ride, and as you can see, really nice and close there to the first drop, and you can see just how different it is to Colossus at Thorpe Park. Little zoom in there to the second corkscrew on the ride. The train will make its way through that and then over on the piece of track that we can see closest to the camera. From that point, it makes its way into the quadruple Heartline rolls. Another look there at the first drop and a zoom in towards the station building. Looks like it's going to be a closed-in station. By that, it looks like there's going to be walls all the way around the side, unlike Kumali, Hero and various other rides at Flamingo Land that have got open stations. You can see there a bit more of an overview of the site and a new building that's also gone up on the construction site there as well. Now as we move on just to the left hand side, you'll notice there's actually been a few changes to velocity in terms of the colour scheme. Now this is something I was just walking around getting some shots of the new coaster and I noticed this. Now of course velocity's got a red track and turquoise supports, but as we can see here they've actually started to paint the colour of the supports a grey colour. Now I'm not too sure if that's a final colour or if it's an undercoat. I mean, I'm not a paint expert. Maybe some of you guys will know more about that. However, it does seem like, you know, they've painted that grey. Is that to maybe match the coaster? Who knows? But more about paint in just a couple of moments. You can see there the coaster from a little bit further back and looking over towards the Cobra roll there as well. That looks fantastic. I think it dominates the entrance of the park, as you'll see in some later shots. And there you can see a nice pan over some of the inversions there on the ride, including the quadruple Heartline rolls. You can also see the first corkscrew just there as well. Okay then, moving on from that point, another little zoom in there. Of course, we were standing just to the left-hand side of that container first. This is sort of showing it from the other side now, looking at where the track banks round before making its way into the 4 Heartline rolls. There's a zoom in then of the loop. When I was last here, the loop was under construction. A couple of days after I came back, the loop was completed. But it was great to see that going up under construction, and the loop is absolutely huge. There's another angle there looking over at the Cobra roll, and as I mentioned just, that really dominates the entrance to the park. You see it when you enter into the car park. So yeah, I really like the positioning of that. They've really thought about where this coaster is located within the park. And there's another look at that first corkscrew on the ride. Of course, that's one of 2 corkscrews that it will complete throughout the layout. You can see there some work taking place, again at the bottom of the lift hill and just outside of the station building as well. And following on from that point, we work from the right-hand side to the left, just seeing there them different Heartline rolls. And I love that element on Colossus at Thorpe Park, also on Altair at Cinecittà World in Italy when I experienced that a few years ago. So I really feel like this is going to be fantastic. Now, talking of paint, as you can see here, they've started to paint some of the track grey, and I thought, oh, you know, that's following what they put in for with the plan application. Then I saw this, some gold track track. So as you can see, they've painted part of it gold. Again, I don't know if this is an undercoat or is the grey an undercoat, or are they just testing some things out. I'm really not too sure, but yeah, that was definitely some gold I saw there on the track. So very interesting. I'm not exactly too sure why, but on the plan application, I think it had black supports and it had a silver track. So there was no mention of gold as far as I'm aware. So that's certainly looking very interesting with that one. And here you can see finally from the outside of the park, just some more zoom ins where you can see the coaster and how it looks. But that Cobra roll is looking absolutely awesome. Really like the positioning of that. It's certainly going to look great when you enter into the park and see that off to the left hand side. And there you can see a bit of a mess of track. Love that, especially with Intamin coasters. And following that, another look there at the paintwork that's taking place. Certainly very interesting. It really is fantastic to see just how much work has been done on the construction site since I was last here just under 3 months ago. The fact the track's now complete is absolutely awesome, and that's a huge milestone for them here at Flamingo Land and all the construction teams involved in that. It's been great to get so close to it today as well. That's all due to its location at Flamingo Land. It's right on the edge of the park, it's next to the main car parks and the main entrance, which means you get some brilliant views of the construction. And likewise, when the coaster does open later this year, you'll get some brilliant off-ride shots from right next to it there on the car park. But anyway, in terms of what there is to do next for them, of course the track's complete, a massive milestone, but there's a lot of work left to do, especially if they're fully painting the coaster as well. You've got to think about all the testing that's got to take place, not only of the trains running around the track, but the lift hill, the brake systems, the sensors, all the other components that make up the ride. That has got to be tested. In terms of when we're going to see trains running around the track, the trains have actually since arrived at the site since I was last here in December. They were stored on the car park for a little while. As we're seeing in this update today, the station and maintenance area looks like it's nearly complete from the outside, so I suspect the trains are now in there waiting to be tested, and of course any checks and maintenance work, what needs to be done with those, I'd imagine that's all taking place at the moment. But anyway, we've got some great views from outside of the park. Let's have a little look from inside the park now, shall we? I mean, we can see from up here some brilliant shots all across Flamingo Land. There's actually a lot of ride testing taking place today as well. Kamali's been going round, Mumbo Jumbo. Also, I've seen Pterodactyl going round just as well. So we may see some of the rides tested as well whilst we're inside the park and get some updates on that new coaster. Let's have a look at some of the sight lines and views from inside Flamingo Land at this new beast of a coaster. So this is the view looking from the zoo over towards the coaster. As you can see, I'm standing behind Pterodactyl. That's actually testing there in the foreground. And then you get a really impressive view of the coaster behind it. And there's a little close-up of the double corkscrews on there as well. Great to look at it from this angle. Of course, it gives you a good idea on how they're directly next to each other. You've also got a close-up there of the Cobra roll. That's definitely my favourite element from an off-ride perspective of this new coaster. And I'm really looking forward to experiencing it soon, so I'll know exactly what my favourite element is from on the ride. And finally, there's a little zoom in over towards the giraffe enclosure. This is right next door to Kamali, and you can see there a nice straight zoom all the way across to the coaster and all of that track. Doesn't it look awesome? As you've just seen there from the various different shots, the new coaster fits in beautifully with the sightlines here at Flamingo Land. You've got some big, impressive rides at this park, such as Kamali, the Vekoma SLC, that you can see here just behind me. With the loop and the Cobra roll, it looks great here next to the lake. And what I'm loving about the positioning of the new coaster is the fact that it's an entrance coaster. You drive into Flamingo Land, and the whole park just unfolds in front of you from the car park, mainly due to the fact that you start at the top of a hill, and the car park's on a gradual descent, and you look across the car park and see all of the rides that make up Flamingo Land. This new coaster fits in with that sight line beautifully, and I can't wait to just drive into the park, see the coaster testing on a morning. It's just going to be a really exciting moment, just seeing it from when you're driving in. And I think that's what's really going to make this coaster. It is the positioning and where Flamingo Land have put it. With the Cobra roll, with this one here on Kamali, it's right next to the lake, and that really makes it. What's going to make the Cobra roll on the new coaster is the fact that it's right at the end of the main entrance area. You've got like the big pirate ship just at the side, all the different shops and restaurants, and then you're going to have this Cobra roll that's down at the bottom that dominates the entrance plaza. And I just feel like that's going to really add to the overall experience of this coaster. But what an update today here at Flamingo Land. The sun came out for me again. It's been fantastic to get back up here and see the work that's took place. Seeing the track so close, especially now it's complete, has been fantastic. The work on the maintenance area, the station building, seems like quite a lot of landscaping work and groundworks taking place underneath the coaster. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do underneath it. Are they going to put some theming in there? Are they going to put some trees and bushes? Or maybe they've got some, you know, rocks and stuff planned. Who knows? But anything's possible at the moment. We know that Flamingo Land do care quite a lot when it comes to the presentation of their rides with theming. Kamali, again, a perfect example, especially with it being next to me here. You've got a big entrance sign with all rock work on there. Some nice landscaping under the coaster. So I don't think they're just going to leave it like a mud bath underneath. I think they'll do something under there, whether it's theming or landscaping, so it fits in well. In terms of the colour of the coaster, who knows what's going to be happening now? As I mentioned in the video with the planning application, it did have a grey colour scheme to it, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do go with in terms of the paintwork. But you can see some grey on there, or silver, whatever you want to describe it as, and also some gold on there as well. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see just what colour this coaster actually ends up here at Flamingo Land. No matter what, I think it's a great investment for them here. I'm really excited to see it when it's complete, and it's been great to come down here again to the park and see some rides testing, of course, in the sunshine, have a stroll around, see the animals, and bring you guys another update on the new coaster. I'll next be down here not too long away actually, next month when the park fully opens. I'll be down here and come and have a look at what we can see from the coaster from inside the park a little bit closer, and also get on all the other rides and film a standard vlog here from Flamingo Land as well, where we'll have on-ride POVs, off-ride footage, and cover all the other changes that have been made around the park here from Flamingo Land. I'm Sean Sandbrook, thanks for watching Theme Park Worldwide, and that means it's time to cue those credits. See you all in the next video.